Okay, if you guys can confirm that, that'd be great. If not, then I'll have to change something, but I think we should be okay. Welcome to the webinar. Tonight's webinar is going to be a little bit different. I wanted to cover some marketing topics since I'm actually running a competition for my primary company, and the folks on my team have exactly 30 days to go for first place, second place, and third place. I'm running a $500 first place competition for sponsoring 10 or more new students into our program, $250 into second place, and then $100 for third place. And I was going to do like an Amazon gift certificate deal, but then I figured, you know what? Out of my experience in 2.5 years of doing this, most people like cash now. Okay, it's funny how the mind works, but they're hungry for cash, so why not give it to the audience what they deserve, right? So with that said, I want to talk about some sources of traffic for building whatever work you're doing right now, right? And so it's going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to just talk about my primary company or try to pitch you on something, but I want to bring you some value in hopes that it will help you in your current situation for whatever project or service that you're doing. And I want to make sure that you understand that I'm pretty good at technology, but I don't do everything like I used to. I don't want to be the guy creating websites and doing graphics and building capture pages. And so as a test, just before this webinar, I went to a couple of sources that I've used in the past, and I'm actually going to add some more capture pages, but I'll show you what we have thus far in our burner for our system. And you'll see that Odess was actually a place that I first started, and I've learned from different places that I think it was 2 years ago. Maybe no, actually it was longer than that. It was back in 2010, so 4 years ago, when I was looking to leverage some much needed work that I can do, but I'm so busy with family and my other personal life stuff that I didn't want to be the guy doing it. You have to be okay. You have to take off that hat, that corporate hat. That's why I struggled in the beginning. Like I always thought it's better to do everything myself first. But I turned out to start digging around, and I found Odess to be such an awesome place to meet some good people. And so if you're taking notes, this is about the right time you want to start doing this. First step is if you're going to do some type of programming work, you want to find somebody in the Philippines, India area, because typically they're dialed into like that frame of work. I mean, they're really good at doing that. And not to say that other places are not, but I've just had the best success in that country. When it comes to graphics and page design, which is what I posted here, I have a squeeze page design, and then you'll notice I wrote here, I have a $25 budget, okay, and don't feel bad. I used to feel guilty paying them such little money, but that's just the way that country runs. It's believe it or not, they're looking just for some extra income. The ad I wrote here, and I apologize, I got a text message here, so I'm getting distracted. Fixed price, I wrote this ad copy here that says, I'm looking to build 5 squeeze pages. I already have the system in place. I just need to really develop to be catchy. I will give the job to the person that can show me proof of high converting pages. So there's an idea for you. If you're looking to build a squeeze page system, I'll show you the system that I use for my team, and you can practice using, building your own, but I'll tell you why I use this system in a minute here. The other place I like to check is Fiverr. For $5, that's about the price range of the other one. This guy will build me a responsive page, and what that means is the page will shrink down to the mobile pages, right? So if you're having a mobile device, if you have a laptop, or even a desktop computer, it will stretch out and convert to that frame of a website. So that's pretty cool. $5 for doing that. And if you want any extra work down here, he tells you, for $20 more, I will create, redesign, and the landing page from scratch. So I don't know if that's what I want to do. It really just depends on your needs. But it really, here's the deal. At the end of the day, when it comes to a business, whether it's a traditional brick and mortar business offline, and you're looking to get some online traffic to your business customers, it's your target audience. And you have two kinds of people on the internet. You have those that are opportunity seekers, folks that are just looking for ways to make money from home. And then you got folks that aren't looking to make money. They have money in hand, and they're looking to just spend that money on trinkets, gadgets, you name it. They just want to buy stuff, right? And I can tell you from experience and different things I've done, and most recently in my eBay experience of sales, if you're out of stock on a certain item on eBay, that customer doesn't want a refund. And I did the mistake in the very beginning 2.5 years ago where I would just refund the customer right away because I didn't have that item in stock. It randomly went out of stock as an example. And then logically, I got a negative feedback, and it destroyed my perfect rating on eBay because I did not know how to communicate to the customer. So keep that in mind, okay? Two kinds of people on the internet, those that want to acquire junk, or in this case, material things, and those that are just looking for ways to make money. So that's the audience that you have, and then you can break it down into a sub-level of thinking, like, okay, they're interested in making money, but in what niche? You know, are they strictly affiliate marketers, or are they multi-level marketers? Are they product-based people? Are they digital product-based people? And that's the list that you want to build, and there's no right or wrong way, but you don't want to mix the two, if that makes sense. So let's get started. My system that I'm using here, I was introduced to this a few years back, called Lead Capture System. I think I paid like $300 for this thing in the very beginning, and I divided this up amongst my leaders in the very beginning. I built my team, and then I have some knowledge of what's called PHP. That's what the system runs on. If you're not familiar with programming, you can outsource this work. It's not too hard. Let me show you a couple of pages I've built. Okay, here's one. I didn't build this one. I added the yellow box at the very top, which has some light traffic from Facebook that shows social connections, right? And I'll link to each person's profile picture. And I wanted this because I want this to be viral for each member of my team. Why I chose this is because it's divided by usernames. So this system allows you to, number one, not only build your capture page system, but you can go out and build a team, and you can either charge them extra for using a system like this, or you can just give it to them. And so I don't charge anything like a monthly fee for this system. It's just part of my team's membership. I give them as an added bonus to market what we do on the back end, if that makes sense. So this image here was developed by one of our members on our team. She's really good at graphics, and so she built this here. I built more of a traditional capture page. So in the system itself, you can change, as a user, you can change your capture page. And so this one, if you look at the fields on the right-hand side, they got name, email, and phone number. And you'll notice that this one only has name and email, right? And so one of the reasons why we do phone numbers is because it's always a good idea to reach out to that person within a 24-hour period because their minds are still fresh versus an email. I found out that emails tend to get lost. They get thrown into a junk mail sometimes. And so there's nothing more better than a physical phone call answering that person's questions. So in the very beginning, when I was living off ramen noodles, just joking, but it was literally paycheck to paycheck, and I didn't have a team. What I would do is drive this traffic into what's called a sales page. So your very first page is called the squeeze page, right? We call it squeeze or landing page. You're squeezing information out of somebody, name and number based off some keywords, right? You got your main header at the top, and then you got some breakdowns of what you're actually providing as a service. And then you're in this video here, you can. What I did was I made this optional where my team can self-brand themselves, or they can leverage the video that I put together for them. That's very generic. That shows what we're about here in this particular system, which is our eBay dropship business. And so what I shared in that video, and I think for those that receive emails from me today, or the person that invited you, that the idea with this system is that I know for a fact when I first got started with multi-level marketing back in the 90s until today, I got really good at talking to people. But it was very tough in the beginning because I didn't have capital while getting my personal growth, my personal development, so I can get my mindset in the right place. You need to feed your family somehow, so you've got to have some upfront money. And so when I came across this concept in that video, what I share is that I knew that my wife wasn't very good at recruiting. So I wanted to find something that was more of a hands-off of people and more of a copy and paste. In this case, what we do is click and import through an Excel file, which is part of this system. But that made sense for her. Does that make sense? It was really simple for her to make money. And as soon as she started making money, our cell phones started going crazy with our eBay app, that I decided to share this with my team. So before you saw this capture page, before you saw the system, it was literally nothing, right? And so if you're marketing your current project that you're passionate about, it really can be anything. You got to think about where your passions are. Okay, is your passion really the product? Because our product is really people in this industry, right? If you want to make money, there's only really two ways of doing it. You either got to double money by gambling away or investing into something, and not many folks have the right resources to do that right up front. Or you got to be really good at doubling people, and that's where I became really good at doubling people. And it took me a while there as a computer engineer. I didn't have the right mindset in the very beginning. And so if you're sitting there thinking, Cesar, I love making money, I love marketing, I just have a hard time talking to people. Hey, I was there. There's no time frame for you to get it right. Okay, I think that's the best way to put it. You're eventually going to get it, whether today or tomorrow. You get frustrated, like I was. I was frustrated that my sponsor was making, $20,000, $30,000 a month, even $10,000 a month, heck, even $1,000 a month, because less than 1% of this industry makes over $1,000 a month. And I just wanted to be there. And I knew if I get to 1,000 a month, then I can scale it up and be to 5,000 and then 10,000 and beyond, right? So that was my goal in the very beginning. So think about this. If you're taking notes, write that down. You got to set a clear, defined goal. Before doing anything else, you got to say, okay, higher power, God, or whatever you want to call him, or the universe. There's different folks on this webinar, so whatever your beliefs are, you have to think outside of yourself and say, my goal is this, and I need to write this down so I can get to my next level. And everybody is a little bit different, right? My situation 2.5 years ago was, my wife says, honey, you've been farting around this internet stuff for over 6 years, okay? You've made some great money, but it's not long-term. It's been, big chunks of money up front, for affiliate product sales, and then it goes away. And then it's not consistent. And that's where I got scared, because she says, you have exactly 6 months to get this right, because I'm not going back to work next year as a first grade teacher. And that's when this system was built, called the Elite Dropshippers. It started to evolve into me just giving this information I'm sharing with you on this webinar about marketing for free to my list, and just sharing how to build a list. And then once you build that list, how to nurture that list to keep them from quitting, okay? Because I think the number one thing is, if you put money in people's pockets and they're doing the work, they're going to stick around. There's no reason why they would quit. And that's been my philosophy, is how fast can I get money in their pockets? And if they do the work. And you got to realize that emotions cannot get involved when it comes to building a team or making sales. If that person decides that today or 30 days from now or even 60 days from now is not the right time or fit, you have to be okay with that. You got to let them go. You got to let them come back later. And it has happened to me. A year later, 6 months later, 2 years later, I get some of the same folks coming back saying, what, Cesar, I went out, I've tried what you did, made a little bit of money, went out to try some new affiliate product, a new deal of the month, and to be honest with you, I have no passion for that. I got to come back and do what I was doing with you because this made sense. And once you have that kind of a system in place, it's such a beautiful feeling, because no longer do you have to worry about yourself anymore. You start to duplicate yourself amongst other people and pour your heart into them. So why I'm saying this is because I came from trying to do everything myself to the point where I start leveraging marketing and other people building my systems. Now, I want to update this page. I want to throw some graphics, make it look prettier. And so that's why I'm reaching out to these other folks on Fiverr and merchandise, Odesk.com, to now building some new pages. But get this, on this system, I'm not just doing it for myself, but my team. This is why I promote that if you plan to build something long-term, create a system, okay, where they can come in and then duplicate and change the capture page to their likings. So right here in the middle, you'll notice that I can click on this, and then I can choose that simple page in the front or a different page here, a different image. And so as I create new capture pages, I can keep adding them to the system. So this is called Lead Capture Page System. I'm not sure what the website is. Yeah, leadcapturepagesystem.com. I'll post a link in the chat if you guys wish to use it. You're welcome to. I've never, I think they give you a promo code. I've never referred anybody to the system, so I don't really care if you guys go straight to the website or just click on that link. It doesn't matter to me because I don't plan to make money off the system. But if you plan on building a duplicatable system, this is the only way I know how to do it. If you have another idea or a system, feel free to share it with me. But I've looked around. I even considered using just a WordPress blog where you can plug in like, and I've asked, as a matter of fact, I've asked the developers of those capture page system companies. I can't remember at the top of my head what it's called. But I know there's 2 versions now, and I actually own both of them. But they can't make it so that multiple users can go in there and modify their pages. It's not set up that way. But the point is, yes, it is recorded. Emily, thanks for asking. This is recorded. My point is if you want to build a duplication, that's the name of the game when it comes to freedom. Because now, and get this, before I forget, a person can come in here and they can build their leads, and if they don't want to capture leads in the system, they can use what's called third-party autoresponders. I'm an admin of the system, so not the users won't see this section, but you'll notice that I can control my leads in here, and not only that, but I can send a broadcast out. Watch this. This is where it gets really exciting. I can send a broadcast out to everybody's leads that leave their leads in the system, and then brand that email copy to that person. So let's say Emily says, hey, I don't have time to write emails out. That's okay, because my email that I send out will be branded by her name, inviting that person to the webinar that we have here tonight as an example. Okay, so I can do that through everybody's leads. That's leveraging their time, and they don't have to be there writing email copy. That's where we come in. And you as a leader, which is stepping up as a leader, you can do that for your people, if that makes sense. So that's what I do for my people. I send out broadcasts every week. That's what gets their leads. So obviously, if they're not driving traffic to the page, they're not capturing leads, then they're not going to get any traffic to them. But at the end of the day, this system allows them, in this case, that user in the system, to not have to be there emailing if they don't want to, and then have me as an admin send email on their behalf to get them to get their leads to a webinar to get credit, if that makes sense. So this is called BillDiamonds.com is our brand. You can buy whatever domain name you want. I think I pay roughly a little bit over $60 to $100 a month on this system. I'm not sure what it costs now, but I was in it for the last 2 years. I kept it going. And so it's to the benefit to educate your team to drive traffic and marketing, right? And then have a compelling offer to offer that person. So this is what I use. This is what I give out to my team, like I mentioned. And then you got options of capture pages. You can modify your own, create new ones. You can do banner ads. I think I have a few banners in here where they can go ahead and copy them. I know before we could use Craigslist, now you can't. But you'll notice here I have one called Learn Dropshipping on eBay. Click here. I made this a GIF, which is an animated GIF that can make it blink. And so this will look really, really good on Craigslist, where somebody can click here. And of course, we have an attractive of almost $11,000 that the first few days here with our system. So that looks attractive. It's driving people to click on that link. Short banners, you can do that too. And then we have a small banner here where one of our members made over $25,000 in sales in our eBay store. So that's, again, very attractive. They click here and then they go to that person's capture page. So you can do banners. It's such an awesome system that you can share with your team, and that's the marketing system in place. Any questions on capture pages, why we use this system? If not, we'll move on to the next section. If you have questions on outsourcing, like I talked about, feel free to ask that. I got to tell you, if you're living a busy life like I am, you want to outsource as much as possible. I think they call it the 4-hour work week. and that's really, really cool. So if you want, things done that are different, if you don't have time for to record a video, you can literally send a script to one of these folks. If I just go to Fiverr and just type in, capture page video intros right there, see? Video intros, landing page, video intro, video testimonial, squeeze page, animation in 3D. They can do text, graphics, and then all you do is, as a member of this pack, like your guys will come in here, and then all you have to do is modify this YouTube video link right in here. And so it wouldn't be about that video about me. It would be whatever they want to change. So they can customize this and self-brand it, if that makes sense. Because the key thing to the internet is branding yourself as a leader, and then capturing leads, and then following up with the lead as an example. We have a survey page. This is exactly, I'll wrap it up here. I think it's important to share this. My survey page looks something like this. I have a survey where I ask people, have you ever been involved in any type of home-based business before in the past? If so, which ones? I think that's the most important question, because oftentimes I get is people working with a traditional brick-and-mortar business, and maybe they've never heard of a home-based business like a multi-level marketing business or an online marketing business. And so if they don't respond to that, then, it's not a live or die answer, but it's always good to work with those that already been in the industry. Does that make sense? Because it's such an easy conversation. They've already spent, $500 and beyond on some type of home-based business, product business, like a Visalis or a Vima or, something to that effect, where they're spending, a lot of money, and they're not making money until they move the product, right, until they recruit new heads. And so when you share with them this concept, again, your concept may be a little bit different, but I'm just sharing with you my experience, why this works for me. Because when I pick up the phone and have a conversation with them, look, 100% of your efforts don't have to come from 100% of your recruiting. Rather, your income has to come from 100% of your recruiting. You can, list some stuff on your eBay store, make an additional, even if it's just $200 or $300, $400 a month part-time, and then maybe spend the other half on the recruiting side so that you're not stressed out about paying for that bill or that car note or that mortgage note, if that makes sense. So, figure out whatever you're working with, if there's a way to make money without recruiting. And the answer is no. Maybe you want to add something like this to your tool belt so that you can make an additional income, and then even help that person that's struggling on the recruiting side feed their families. And the fact is that you help them out, they're going to join you in whatever opportunity, because now they trust you. Say, look, they're going to be like, hey, look, Larry, or look, Linda, you just helped me make some money. I've never made even $20 online before, but you just helped me make that money online, and it didn't require too much effort, just a few little copy and pasting, and now I'm making money. What else are you doing? And then you can pitch them on your multi-level marketing company or what have you. So I hope that makes sense. I literally picked up the phone. When my wife told me, you have 6 months to bring me home, that's exactly how the conversation went. It went, hey, it was more of an interview process. I picked up the phone and started talking to folks and asking them questions, and I let them know what I'm working on. If you guys ever heard of David Wood before from Empower Network, I actually used one of his tools back when I first started this, just to speed the process up. And you don't have to do this, but it's called webcalldialer.com, webcall dialer. You may have heard of LeadNet Pro. That's what the system is. I imported a list that I had built with some phone numbers that had purchased, they were actually, so going back to my previous conversation about opportunity seekers and then opportunity buyers. They were actually product buyers, right? They bought something of me. And so what I did was I created a phone call in the very beginning, and I blasted them saying, look, you and I worked together in the past on my Craigslist product or whatever you had to offer to them. That's what I said in the message. And I said, this Thursday I'm going to give you a bonus. I'm going to share with you some information that can literally help you throw some extra money in your pocket. And that's when I shared with that list on Thursday. I think out of 800 people, I think I had put 50 people in that first week. And some of those people are still with me today. in my system because of that leverage of an auto dialer. Okay, so this is an auto dialer. You can literally import people and automatically either leave a message or let's see, it leaves a message if they're not picking up the phone, or it actually leaves another message if they pick up the phone. And so I took what David Wood showed me a few years ago, because I saw what happened with him with the company. Some of you know that story. He was actually with a company called iLearning Global, I think it was called. It was a personal development company. When that business went out of business, he said emergency webinar this Thursday, or actually tonight, and he blasted out. I happened to be on that list. He blasted out a phone call, and he put like 75 people in within 24 hours. And that's exactly how you leverage a list fast. Okay, talking about people putting a lot of people into a program. That's exactly how he did it. He did it using this software and then a recorded message center, because it could eat up your minutes if you're leaving a long message using the software. And so what he taught me was drop a number and buy the domain for that number. And that's what I did. I said, hey, go back to domain.com and register for the webinar. So they go back to 951 whatever phone number.com, and then it would be like your website that registers them for a webinar, as an example, if that makes sense. So I'm giving you guys some good nuggets here, leveraging and speed. Talk about making a six-figure income within 72 hours. This is exactly how I did it, leveraging an autoresponder, okay? Rather an auto dialer. I remember the very beginning. I think it's important to share this because I was involved with a company called New Reach back in 2010, 2008 to 2010, and I knew there was a faster way. I invested $30,000 plus in marketing and in that education, and I didn't make a dime for a year and a half, and I was getting frustrated. Okay, I was up to my eyeballs in debt, and I remember feeling very frustrated, and I ended up hiring a coach named Jeffrey Combs. Some of you might have heard of that name, and he really dialed into my psyche, my brain, and figured out what was really wrong with me. And everybody's a little bit different. We all grew up a little bit different, but we're not too far from each other when it comes to ideas and having a passion for making money. And at that time, I remember him talking to me, Jeffrey Combs, and he says, he starts talking about his dad. He starts talking about his dad, how he was involved in the basketball game. His dad was a coach, and his dad punched him in the face when he got home when he lost the game. And that triggered a memory in my mind between the ages of 5 and 15 that typically happens to somebody. I grew up with a verbally abusive mom, sometimes physically, and it affected me. And I didn't realize that that was really hindering me from moving forward in my business life, if that makes sense. So after a lot of tissues and letting a lot of the anger out, if that makes sense, I was able to produce $30,000 that month. Okay, it's amazing how that simple shift in thinking can really get you to the next level. And if you're relating to this story somehow, some way, some of you grew up perfectly, no one ever hurt you. Maybe you haven't been challenged enough in your life. I don't know what your situation is. Everybody's a little bit different. I'm just sharing with you my story. That's when I broke through. That's when I had a personal breakthrough. And I remember leaving that company, asking Jeffrey to invite me to something that's making money in a company that's similar to like 5 Links or ACN. It was a company called, at the time, it was a company called Fortune High Tech Marketing. And I remember connecting with that group, and they were completely offline, believe it or not, even though they're a quote-unquote high-tech company. And I knew there was a better way. So I got involved with MLSP, My Lead System Pro, because of a phone call. I looked for an auto dialer, right? And I was looking for that traffic source that I would buy a list. That's what Jeffrey told me to do. I'd buy a list of people, 1,300 people for $300. And these were people that wanted to go work for a job. Wrong target audience. So if you're sitting there thinking that buying a list is going to get you to where you want to be, you're going to blow a lot of money. I'm going to share with you the secret that helped me out. I got a call from an auto dialer after looking on YouTube for a while, and that auto dialer was from a gentleman named Cesar out of Florida. Some of you may know him. And called me back and says, why do you want to buy this auto dialer? I said, well, I'm getting tired of calling phone numbers, and I want to leverage a system where I can call people. And he says, well, who knows you on the internet? I said, well, a few people. How big is your list? I said, what list? I just bought a list. He says, no, you got the wrong mentality, my friend. If you want to make money in this game, you got to brand yourself, and that's when my 2009 changed. That year, I started to market myself. I started to build my capture pages. It took me a while to get that wrapped around my brain. It's a lot more than this webinar can educate you on. But I started to really learn how to share my story, which they called My Story Marketing, and then get connected with people that like you and trust you. And once you start building a list that way, like I'm sharing with you here tonight, and then your business will never be the same. There is no fast way of doing this unless you start to brand yourself and start getting people to like and trust you. And now with Facebook, it's made it a little bit easier. I think that the most effective way at the end of the day is building a list and then sharing value with them. And so, Louis, I did not know yet you got coached by Jeffrey Combs. That's awesome, man. Louis is one of my top recruiters in our system. And that's where the passion came, guys. I think at the end of the day, I hit a roadblock in my life where I got tired of creating internet products and educating people on, and it was like a one-time sale, and that was it. I wanted something more long-term. We tinkered around, leveraging other systems to give away marketing information for free and eBay information for free. And then I just said, you know what, let me cut the fat out, and let's create something here that can potentially be a long-term business, because we have already seen it work for 2 years. And that's when, the Elite Dropshippers was formed. And so if you go to the EliteDropshippers.com website, and if you were invited by somebody else, you want to make sure that you use their link, you'll notice that the video is the same video on BuildDiamonds.com. Same idea at the top. I may end up changing this in the future. I don't know. It may just be a regular website instead of a capture page system, and just leave Build Diamonds as a team capture page system. But either traffic source would build a sale for somebody on the team, as long as it's coded to them. This video sends them over to a sales page, and then the Buy It Now page. The reason I'm sharing with you this is because when you start to understand that we're not losing people, even if they don't buy today, in whatever program or service that you're marketing, you're going to get them sooner or later if you want to. If you want to follow up with them. If you don't, no big deal. I mean, that's totally your prerogative. But if you want your paycheck to go up, like I just shared with you, I knew that I had to stop trying to sell myself. I had to find a system and build it so that not only I can make money, but a team of people that can go out and bless them so they can make money. And if they're good at recruiting, they're going to make a real nice check. If they're not very good at recruiting new members, then they can still make an income, maybe not as residually, if that makes sense, because when it comes to eBay, it can be a very nice passive income. Like I've sold a lot of the same products. Like once you list one thing up, it can sell over and over and over again. But that's totally up to that person. Everybody's got different work ethics. I've seen people say, hey, I'll go post 10 things up on eBay, and then I want to make $1,000 a month. Okay, that's the mentality of some folks, and it's funny. But that's the realistic matter of some folks. And then we got other folks that come on board and say, look, I'm going to treat this like a real business. I don't got time to mess around. And then I'm going to go find out what's hot, what's working right now, and what's making the most sense on eBay. And let's go ahead and bring up eBay so we can give that an example. And then go start selling. As an example, I have, let's put my sellers here. When I was taught this concept, it was about finding top sellers, and literally anything with a white background came off of Amazon. And Amazon is just one source, but you'll notice that all of these have a white background, right? White background, white background, white background, white background. So it's a dead giveaway that this is an Amazon seller. Oftentimes I'm asked, I don't want to be listing stuff that you're selling from this person, so how do I go find my own stuff? I'm going to check off sold listings only on the left-hand side. You'll notice everything in green is what he sold. So right here, $15. This is on the 12th. This is today. Yesterday was the 11th, so he sold quite a few stuff here. Here's the 10th, quite a few stuff there, and so on. We can keep going. But if I take that title and go search for it on Amazon, you'll notice that this item is also from Amazon. Here we go. He actually sold a book, so this is an interesting question. I had somebody ask me today, can we list books on Amazon on eBay? And absolutely, you can. I'm just going to copy that link, find out what he buys them for. So the prime price on this particular item is $7.14. He's selling it all day long for $5.85. So this particular seller, is not about making high profits per item. He's about moving more products, right? My point in saying that is you can build a business where I think Javier today from Mexico emailed me. He says, I want to make a six-figure business on eBay monthly. And I said, great. Well, it really depends on your eBay account. How old is that eBay account? If you're grandfathered in from the 90s to early 2000s, then you've been accepted into what's called the grandfathered in program where there's no limits. That's the account that I had before I started to build the system. I seriously affected it because I didn't know what to say to the customer. When I didn't have the item, like I mentioned, I would refund them back their money right away. I said, okay, the item's out of stock. Mentally, that person's going to be okay with their money back. And then I would refund their money right away and then email them, message them and say, hey, sorry, I'm out of stock. Wrong mentality, guys. That's not the way it works. We actually have a message in the back office that has helped me 100% of the time. I've never had anybody leave me a negative feedback because of that message. But it goes something like this. It says, hey, sorry, you know what? I'm out of stock and I apologize. Typically doesn't happen. I'm going to give you two options. It's totally up to you what you want to do. You can either wait 3 to 5 weeks for the item to come back in stock, or I can give you back your money. The energy in that conversation is okay, you're leaving it to the hands of the person that has the money rather they gave to you, but they're in control of making the decision. Do they want to wait or do they want their money back? So awesome little tip I gave you there for a situation like that. But here's the cool thing. This person here, like my wife, started just listing stuff, and then started making money. Before we know it, we had an additional $20 a day, then started going to $50 a day and beyond, all because of a simple concept here from Amazon. And then we opened it up to overstock. And the reason we did that is because we had folks saying, Amazon may be a little too competitive. I want to go with overstock. And so we opened up the overstock, and then we opened up Kmart, and then we opened up Walmart and beyond to the process. But the idea with this system is that you list a lot of stuff and then make profits on that stuff. Okay, when I was educated, I asked, what would it take to make an additional, $2,000 a month, even $1,000 a week? What would that take? And I remember my sponsor, or rather my coach, telling me, you need to be at about 1,000, 2,000 items up, 1,500 items up, and optimize the titles. And I said, wow, that's going to take a long time to do it by hand. And so not too long ago, we introduced, this is actually about March timeframe, I started building it when I shared this with my list. And you might be sitting there asking yourself, why did you share this information with your list? Why don't you just keep it to yourself? Well, you got to remember, I came from a corporate background. I was an engineer working for Hewlett-Packard, Xerox, and a lot of these corporate companies, you're absolutely correct. They don't want you sharing information. They want you to keep it to yourself because if you go and share it with somebody else, they can take your ideas and run off with it. I fortunately came from an abundance mindset because I got introduced to this industry called network marketing at a very young age, and I decided that it wasn't about me. It was about me connecting with folks like Lewis and then exchanging ideas how to better our businesses and life together, not just the finances, but family life and spiritual life and beyond. And once you have that mindset, once you start thinking in the better positive mindset and not start being Mr. or Mrs. Know-It-All and if you keep an open, coachable mindset, that's when the right people start joining your team. That's when the income really starts coming in, where you start helping other people out. And then ironically, by higher power gives you the ability to make sales. We've had plenty of people do that, all because of a mindset shift. I don't know which better way to break it down, but it has 100% to do with mindset. That's when my paycheck started changing. That's when the right people started joining the team and having great relationships with the right people. I always believe this. If you guys take notes, you might want to jot this one down. The right people will always stick to whatever project you're working on, meaning that that person may come in for a month or two and get excited and then may quit, but they may bring somebody on your team that you collaborate with better, and they stick around with you. And it's happened to me multiple times. It happens to a lot of people in this industry. And that's when you start to really dig into folks like Robin. Robin, who was on Hangout last night that we did for the team. We did a Q&A session last night. She wasn't my personal person that I connected with. She was actually a top recruiter that sponsored another guy. That guy sponsored her. And so 2 levels down, both of those people quit. And even though they're top recruiters, they're all about recruiting, they weren't really doing much with eBay. Robin stuck around, and she is somebody that's dear to my heart because she actually has a lot of value and has been doing eBay. And every single Christmas, I remember last Christmas, she thanked me. She said, Cesar, we've always struggled with Christmas, having money to spend on the kids, and it's because of this system that I'm grateful for, and you've given back to me. So that's been 2 years now that she's been with us plus. And I can tell you this business is my baby. This is why I do what I do. If you want to be the 6-figure guy and beyond per month, it's going to require you to acquire an abundance of products up front. If you don't have a large enough capital, this system here, what we have at Elite Dropshippers, is probably the best way to get started, to get educated. And then from there, once you start building up some capital, you can start acquiring your own products and then doing other ventures like FBA, where you start buying products from China. And then you can buy larger units, like 500 units or 100 units of the same product. And then if it's a hot item market, then you can go out and list those and sell those. The only reason I'm sharing that with you is because we have questions all the time that people want to go from 0 to 6 figures in a month right away. And I'd be lying to you if I told you that's possible for that new person. It's not. I think every person's got to start off where they feel comfortable with. If you haven't made 6 figures in a month, don't even think about thinking there quite yet, okay? Because you don't know what it takes to make 6 figures in 1 month. If you haven't made $20,000 in a month, you shouldn't even be thinking about making $20,000 a month. But if you made over $1,000 a month at your job, think about what it would take to replace that income by leveraging eBay. Or if you're really good at network marketing and sponsoring and coaching people, then think about leveraging both sides, like many of us have. I've got to the point where I built my store up, and I got so heavy in coaching and developing the system and the software that I got boggled down by customer service stuff and not taking care of the team. And so I left a lot of the sales stuff to my wife, and I passed it over to her. So she's running her store, and now her and I run the business together in developing it and improving the software. So one thing that we found is folks that list items in their store, if you don't have traffic to that item, it gets pushed down in the ranks. And actually, that was an idea that came from Don and the team. And when that happened, we decided to create a software for that, to take care of people's rankings on items. And that's important. I think that's really important to understand that that when it comes to automating your life, that's what I'm good at. If you come to me and say, Cesar, I'm making sales, but I'm not quite there yet. Where do I need to get to? Or, can we drive some more traffic to my page? Can we do this? Can you automate this part? And then, that's where it becomes beautiful. Let's open up one of our softwares here. I'll take Overstock, since we don't hang out at Overstock too much. I'll talk about it too much, but I'll take Overstock here. I'm gonna head over to Overstock software. We have a software here called the SKU list scraper, and what I'll do is I have a lot of tabs open, so I apologize. This is getting kind of crazy. Let me close some of these. We're done with the marketing side, and I'll go back. If I miss any questions, I'll go back and answer some of the questions for you guys. So, okay. If we do the same thing, click on Advanced, head over to Buy Seller, and then I type in Overstock. At one point, the only people that were selling on Overstock was Overstock. It was their items. But now you'll notice that Overstock here, if I check off what's sold in Overstock, you'll notice that they have 434 listings results here. This is what they sold just today. You get an idea what they sold. Okay. If I take this item here, Olympus Natural Fixed Drawer Dresser, and I go over to Overstock, same concept as we did over at eBay, or rather Amazon. Okay, let me close that box out. I'm going to search for that drawer. You'll notice that they also sell it here for $416.99. So they're actually cheaper on eBay, which is interesting. Typically, it's about the same price. So right here, okay, and here's the eBay item. Let me check something really quick. So actually, this guy bought it for $365.99 back on May 31st. So it could be that they raised the price on this particular item between May 31st and now. That happens sometimes, so that might be what happened there. But my point in saying that is I can take this dresser, and you'll also notice that other people are selling that item. I'm going to click on eBay at the top left to get out of the Overstock account. Search. Okay, there we go. And paste it in there again. Hit search. And you'll notice that here is another person selling it right there. And another. Okay. So there isn't too many people selling it, which is kind of cool. So that means there isn't much of a competition. And this is possibly may or may not be one of our guys. I don't know. It's hard to say. But I'm just double checking. The information looks a little bit different than we're used to scraping. But I'm going to take this example just to show you guys. Okay. I'll take this item number right here. Copy that. Paste in Notepad. There's my first item. Next item, head back over to Overstock. Remember, I want to see what they sold in the last couple of days. I'm only going to do 2 items as an example on this tutorial, and you'll notice that here is the second item. Pay attention to the number of photos they have. They have 5 photos, 7 photos, 2 photos. eBay loves multiple photos, which is something that we cannot automate. That actually has to be done by hand. We've tried to do that in the past, but eBay has openly admitted that their software doesn't allow multiple photos. So that is something that you would have to do by hand. But we've taken a lot of the heavy work out by doing this. Let me double check that's the same item. That chair, yeah, 107 and then 84. Okay, perfect. All right, so regardless, I'm going to change this item up so we can make it look different. There's 2 items here that I found just from Overstock. I'm going to save that to my documents, get over to eBay Work, Overstock, and then I'll put today's date as 6/12. Overstock items. All right. So 2 items, I saved in the text file, and that's for like home and garden, which is my favorite department. Home and garden, right there. So I close that file out. So what our software does, and this is the one that you have access to at the basic level, and we'll talk about both levels here in a second. I have a premium store. My store name here will be clicked on, and then my PayPal email address is that, where I want to get paid. How much profit do you want to make based off of the current price here, because you're going to have to acquire the product from the store, from Overstock, right? Granted that you can literally get it from any store that you like, but I'm just showing you this example now. If this happens to go out of stock, we teach you how to go find it from other sources, other websites, so you're not having to be stuck with that item. Okay, so I'm just going to put on here, I want to make a $8 profit on the high end, and then I'll make a $4 profit on the low end in case it sells. And I'm just doing this just to show as an example. And I'll list a quantity of 2. And then we have different templates, but I'll leave it standard, which is just plain white text. And then we'll head over to pick that file that we just created. Not too hard to do. I think most people can go pick a file. And then here's our item. There's the home and garden file that we just made. Hit scrape. And if everything works beautifully, you should get what's called a CSV file. CSV file stands for comma limited, comma separated file. And I'll save that file under EBA work. Same place, Overstock, and then my Overstock items for today. It gets saved to my, I'm on Chrome, so it'll get saved to the very bottom. And there we go. Okay, so you'll see that, don't get scared. One of the requirements is that you do have Excel on your computer, because we modify titles here, and the only thing I'm gonna change here tonight is a couple titles. You get your description. You're curious to see what the description looks like. No longer do you have to copy and paste from each website. You can literally have a file that has it all filled up. HTML viewer online. I just want to show you what it looks like. You guys don't really need to do this part of the training, but if you're ever curious to see what it looks like, you copy the HTML code at the very top of this page, and then there's the item right there. We used to have the image inside of the listing, but what happened was the product image was actually affecting the rankings of where your item stands. So we have removed that from our listings. Does that make sense? So we actually talked to eBay, and they said, hey, you know what, if you have images inside your listings, you're actually creating a lower ranking. So that's important, to remove. Product features are right here. These come straight from the website. So, I'm looking at the Olympus, the other item. So if you take that item right there, copy that, paste it in here. There's the drawer. All right, so store your clothes belongings. That should be your, right there, your product features. And then right below that, the product description is the product details, which has the breakdown and the size and all that good stuff, and the dimensions. You can see that right there. All right. And then, of course, we have your shipping information all built up beautifully in a template file for you. And both of these are set for your store. So, please click here to check out my other items. They click here, and then go check out your store. That's why you enter your store name there. So our software is designed that you have at least a basic store, which is about $15 a month or so with eBay, and that helps with categorizing your listings, as well as it lets eBay know that you're a serious seller. You're not just you're not just selling just to sell. And also, we have folks that come from different systems that try to copy your items. So if you right-click, you get a little message saying, learn eBay the right way, contact seller for details. So that's kind of a joke for us here. We actually laughed when we created this part of it. But if somebody comes and tries to copy your items, right-click and copy, then there you go. They get a nice little message to contact you to learn how to drop ship. So that's built all into a template. Something that we're going to add after our discussion last night is the weight to the item as well as the dimensions, so that when you go list it on eBay, it's going to be in that section on your eBay item. So it's going to save you a ton of time from having to do it by hand. And the reason that we want the weight and the dimensions is because we have opened up our software to the global shipping program, which means that anybody in Mexico, New England, anywhere outside of the United States can get the product shipped to them via the eBay Global Shipping Program, which has actually helped me. I sold a chair to Norway that I would have lost the sale for two reasons. If I didn't offer best offer, okay, and if I didn't offer the ability for them to ship to Norway, what if I just kept my business inside the United States? I would lose that money. So I actually made a $50 profit because I didn't have to ship it to Norway. eBay handled that through the Global Shipping Program, and it was under that weight and it was under the dimensions. So what's important for you to know is that you want to make sure to understand that our software not only handles the template side of things, but it also puts in details that your items deserve for better qualifying rankings. And so the weight and the dimension will be added here shortly to the software. That hasn't been done yet because we just recently started testing this Global Shipping Program, and we're having folks increase 30-40% on their sales side of things because of the GSP, Global Shipping Program. So pretty exciting stuff. Okay, so let's open up the title optimizer. That's what I'm going to use right now. And look at the numbers here. Okay. Now that I have my items here, I'm going to use this tool called the Title Optimizer. Title Builder. And I'm just going to set this aside to the side here. And what I like doing is I copy the title here, Olympus Natural 6-drawer dresser. So really the main keyword here is dresser, right? I'll remove all the other stuff and just leave the drawer dresser. And I'm going to click on Get Keywords. And this tool that we have here with the Elite Dropshippers allows you to get up to 100 keywords that are popular on those two different keywords there, dresser and drawer. Obviously, that's the two ones on top. But you can go after any keyword you like. And you can see here you got, backplate, dressers, clothing, keyholes. And so what we like to do here is really restructure the item so I'm not competing against anybody else. We restructure the title. So now you're making your own. On the right-hand side, you see the suggested categories. This falls in lines of the category that eBay will take it in when you import this file. So we got dressers, chests of drawers, we got bedroom sets, we got dress and vanities. So it doesn't matter which one. They all kind of fall along the lines. I'll just pick the middle one just for kicks, copy that, and that's what this item will go under as a dresser. So my field inside this file is called the category 1, and right now it's empty. So I'm just going to paste it right there. Now I need my category for the second one, but before I do that, I'm going to finish the title here. So we're going to erase all this here. And I'll throw in here bedroom, 6-drawer, dresser. What else can I take from this example here? We got bedroom, we got furniture, storage, a lot of awesome keywords here, right? So we got bedroom. Oh, sorry, I already did that. Storage. We got furniture. We got modern. And if you forget what it's like, you can actually take the image from right here, copy that, and then paste it right at the top. So it almost has that, that rustic look. It has a little bit modern, but also a modern rustic look. So I'm going to go throw in there rustic. That's a very high keyword, very neutral color. Okay, so I'm done with that. I'm going to throw it back into my title optimizer. I want to make sure it's not over 80 characters. That's the most that eBay will take. So we have a title builder at the top that would take the characters. Well, I spelled neutral wrong. Thank goodness I threw it in here. So there it is, neutral, and it tells me that I got about 7 characters left before I hit 80 characters. So we got vintage, shore, closet, poles, nightstand, wooden. There you go, wooden. And that's about where I can reach. I'm at 79 characters. That's a good title. Copy that, paste it in here. I've now restructured the product. I've taken out the main brand, which is Olympus. I'm going to do the same thing with that H1 variable, which is right in the center here under the description. Paste that guy in there, and I am done with this guy. I got the category here. If you notice that my starting price is $483.07, that's based off of my profit margin. And then the buy it now is $478.54. So 483, just double checking that item. For $16.99. Throw it into a calculator, just double check the price margin. And you guys will learn this. If this is too much for you or your head, then don't worry about it. You'll learn it from the inside. But there you go. I wanted to make at least $8, right? So there's $8.29 right there. Exactly what I inputted. And that starting price is based off of me wanting to make an $8 profit after eBay and PayPal fees. eBay fee is $43 right there, and PayPal fee is $14.31. So that person that's going to send you the money, they're going to send you the price based off of what you want to make. So off the $483.07, you're going to make $8.29 off that item after paying eBay and PayPal fees. So you want to make sure you don't spend those fees. You may actually get more money than that in your PayPal, but you want to keep track of that. We'll show you how to do that on the inside as well. So you're not spending the money, and this is fees that are being paid by the customer, not by you. So keep that in mind. All you're going for is profit margins. So there's one example right there, guys. I can keep going and do the other right here. So I'll go ahead and do that so I can show you how that gets imported. So let's take this drawer here, and we'll throw it back into here. I'll do another example for you guys. I'm going to take out the brand, which is Tribeca Home Verona Cherry Swivel 24-inch counter height stool. So main keyword here is counter stool. So we can go counter and we'll do stool. Get the keywords, and of course our suggested category based off of PayPal. Based off of eBay. So bar stool, benches, and stools. Yeah, we'll go with the bar stools. Copy that number, paste into our category, and there's that category. We're at 43 characters. We got stools, set, 2 swivel. I don't know if that thing swivel. I think it does. So we can throw. So yeah, it's already in there. Swivel. So swivel's in there. Height. Yep, height's in there. We got seat, leather. I don't know if it's leather, and if you want to know if it's leather, here's the cool thing is that we have a custom label area here. I actually got a request to input a custom label a prefix right before the number, so I will add that back as an option so that you can enter a prefix. If you leave it blank, then it'll just be the number. But the reason they wanted me to input that was because last night's training with the Q&A session, the gentleman said that sometimes he likes to pay his outsourcers to list his items, and he wants to put a hashtag or a name so when the item sells, he knows who to pay. Kind of a cool concept. It's not. We don't promote outsourcing your eBay work because you're dealing with mistakes. It's happened twice already with 2 people I've talked about, where that person doesn't know how to process a sale and they make a mistake. So we don't promote that. But if you want to play with that, you're more than you're more welcome to. So I will add that in the future release software. And let's see. We're going to wrap it up here with this title tool. We got pub, chairs. That's kind of a cool name. Yeah, if it's a pub, kitchen. I'll throw kitchen on the front. We got home, bar stool. So there you go. We'll throw home at the end. Or bar stool, home. We got 5 more keywords left. Home, cherry, white, bar stool, brown, 24-inch style, walnut, chrome, piece, saddle, room, retro, backless, cushion. Let's go with retro. Exactly 80 characters. Copy that in there. paste that at the top. I've now replaced my title for that item, and then I'm also going to do it in between the H1 tags. If you're doing 40 or 50 items at a time, we actually have an advanced section with a formula that gets copied into in here. You can restructure the titles really quick. When you guys register for your training tonight, you'll notice that you'll have access to that training that we did last night. I talked about that a little bit. So you'll have access to that training, and it'll be good for you guys. It's very, very beneficial for sure. Okay, so let's go back to the bar stool area. I'm copying the category. I forgot to copy the SKU number. That's why I'm not finding it. Okay. That's my bad. All right, so you'll notice that the image didn't get copied. You can change it up. You can actually pick this image here. That's kind of deceiving though, because it has two different bar stools. So I would use like maybe that one there. That's a nice one. And then you can always change these later once they get imported. So with Overstock, for some reason, they don't let you right-click and copy their image. So the way you do this is called Inspect Element. And then that bottom part pops up, and you'll notice that it's right there. You can't miss it. JPG. Just copy that guy. And then you can actually do copy image URL. That's going to be my image URL that I put under pick URL. It didn't grab it for whatever reason, but now it's there, and we are done with this file. Everything else is a template ready for you to go. So save this file, save as, the same location. Okay, we're done. Hit yes there, close this guy out. We're done with that. We don't need to save it again. I'll drop that down. If you're on a Windows machine, we use what's called TurboLister. It's actually eBay software. They developed this. All we do is write software to talk to this software. And then if you're on a Mac, you actually use a different tool called TurboLister. So if you're on a PC, you have two options. You can use TurboLister or File Exchange. If you're on a Mac, you use File Exchange only. I think I said TurboLister. It's actually File Exchange for Mac. So let's go into our eBay items. Overstock. And I'm going to import that file right there. It's going to ask you, what do you want to import? Well, we want to import everything, title, images, everything. So make sure that's all checked off, hit import. And for whatever reason, look at my top left, I have to actually click on a different box for the items to show up in here. It's just part of the way the software works. So I'm going to go down one folder and then go back up, and there's my two items. Already formatted exactly for me, ready to be imported. I don't have to modify anything else. I'm good to go. But if you wanted to, you can. But I'm just going to go ahead and click on Add to Upload. Click on my Waiting to Upload folder, and then Upload All. And I'll show you what the final result looks like here in a second. It says it's going to cost me 20 cents to list this item, but I actually have a premium store where I can list up to 500 items, I believe, on that account. So I just got an email stating that I've listed the item. So I'm going to click on my listing activity and type in bar stool as one example. There's the item I just listed. I'm going to click on View Online to go see what it looks like on eBay. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a little tip here. Okay, you'll notice that there's the image I chose. You want to take a step further and add more images. You can do that by just revising the listing. But what's the most important thing is, what does my competition look like based off of my title? So I'm going to copy that title. I'm going to paste it up here. I'm going to search for it. Who else is listing that item? You'll notice that my image looks completely different than the stock images that they use from Overstock. So that's important. You know, make that front image to be different, because even though they look the same here, the image is their stock image, which is actually the branded image to Tribeca Home. I use the white background image just to be different. There's one guy using that image that's still a little bit different. Mine's facing forward. But the cool thing is you can actually modify the image, and there isn't too much competition here. So that's the cool thing about Overstock. There's not a lot of competition, and you can actually modify your title to be different. 0 results found for what I searched for. Okay, so if I just search for height stool, seat pub, bar stool, as an example, I'll get a whole different results of searches, right? You got 0 results found for height stool, seat, bar stool, right there. You know, the item is actually not even showing up on that search because it's a different search. So that's why we modify titles. That's why you want to be a little bit different, so that when somebody's searching, you want to see what your competition looks like. If half of this page was full of my bar stools, then I have a lot of competition, and I want to make sure I check my price points. But when you start modifying your titles, you can literally list whatever price point you have. And it's funny, I get the question asked all the time. So if you're brand new at looking at this concept, you might be sitting there thinking to yourself, you know, why would somebody pay more for an item that costs less on a different website? Well, you could have been that somebody if you didn't get educated here tonight. And so now you're one step ahead of being smarter at shopping than when you receive an item from eBay that you bought and it shows up in an Amazon box or a plain brown box from Overstock, as an example. Okay, that's what we teach. We're not going after the smart price shoppers or the diggers. We're going after the average Joes and Janes that just like buying on eBay. Okay, they've been buying since the 90s. That's our target audience, and we've created a full-time income just doing that, just strictly on eBay. We've got plenty of folks that have not just 1 but 2 stores that have been selling on eBay for a long time with us for the last 2 years, and they've made this their lifestyle. This is like what keeps them home. Even the gal that graduated college says, look, I'm making more money on eBay than I would be doing at a job, which is kind of ironic. But that's the mentality that we go after. We go after people that love to be educated and coached, and that's the good stuff. So let's go over our packages, and we'll wrap it up here. I'll hang out for a few seconds and minutes and answer some questions. But we as a team here, I want to educate you guys a little bit on marketing, because that's important what we do, and not just marketing, but also what we do as a team to help each other and support each other. And we actually leverage what's called Facebook for like a private group. And here's the tools that you'll need. I'm going to re-emphasize these. You got to at least know how to install a computer program, whether you're on Mac. Extension is a DMG file. If you're on a PC, it's an exe file typically. Even on Mac, actually you only have to install a program on Mac unless you don't have Microsoft Office. But you have to understand that you use a web browser to import the item through Macs. And I have plenty of tutorials on how to do that. I think there's other webinars you can watch on YouTube that we've done where I use a Mac. So if you're a Mac lover, we cover you there. If you're a PC lover, you're covered there. I haven't tested it out on Linux, but those are the 2 main platforms that we cover at this moment. So you got to be familiar with Excel, at least know how to do what I just did, modify a few Excel files. It's not that hard, just copy and pasting, right? Numbers and changing titles, and we give you the tools how to do that. You got to be coachable. Don't try to do it your own way in the beginning. Okay, if you're not at multiple 6 figures business on selling online, I don't know why you would be on the webinar in the first place, but you know, it's really be open to replacing your current income at your job so that you can have more time to be home where you're doing what you love to do, your passions, if that makes sense. And so that's what we're here. We're here to help you replace your part-time income or your full-time income, whatever your goals are. Everybody's different. Some people actually love their job and they're just looking for beer money. And say, if you want an extra $400 or $500 to buy beer, or whatever your passions are, you know, hobbies, to buy a bike, like I just did today. I actually bought a Giant bike. It's called Giant brand, a Defi, and I never thought I'd spend $500 and beyond on a bicycle. But I want to get into more. I've been caring about my health a little bit more because of my back pains of doing many years of computer work, and I want to make sure that I take care of my health. So I've been doing CrossFit and now getting into cycling. Let's see. We'll wrap it up here. Internet connection. Make sure your internet's strong. Okay, I lived in the boonies when I first started this business in the mountains, and internet connection was was a pain where I lived. I was tethering off my phone, even tried to do some MacGyver stuff like sharing the internet connection off of one device of a phone to a router. It was kind of funny. If you guys are techie, you'll get that joke. Your computer has to be running smoothly. We give you a few tools on how to clean that up. But for the most part, you want to make sure that you don't have a lot of spam. Okay? And so that's huge. You know, if you're, I used to run a computer cleanup business for 5 years. 99.9% of the computers that were infected were Windows computers. You know, for whatever reason, they just get infected because folks are visiting the wrong websites, or they click on the wrong link, and they get infected. So you got to make sure that your computer is clean because that could hinder your speed in doing your work. Last but not least, okay, this system was really built for my wife, for her to come home. You know, you got to make sure what's important for you in your life. You know, my wife is, my kids are, so I wanted to be home with them. We get to spend time together all day, which is amazing, to say the least. And so I get to kind of raise them the way we want them to be raised. She was a first grade teacher, like I mentioned, and she wanted something to replace her teacher for her income. And so now she supports me on the accounting side of things, as well as we're having some help now to help us out with that, which is pretty cool. You get to really build a lifestyle that you want to build in your dreams. So super grateful for my wife's coaching, because if it wasn't for her, I guess this system wouldn't really be here. I was motivated to build something like this. I showed you the drop shipping concept, pretty simple. Okay, you list an item on eBay from a third-party site. That item sells, whether buy it now or best offer. I showed you both prices. Okay, that buyer sends you the money. Okay, I mentioned if you don't have an old eBay account, you will have to front the money. So maybe you don't want to be listing a $400 item like I just did, because you will have to fork that money out of your pocket, ship it to the customer, and then you will receive the $400 with your profit after the item gets delivered. So consider listing items that are in the range of $5 to $40. Okay, just to be affordable. Okay, and so if you're starting off with a brand new eBay account, I'm sharing this tip with you up front. Don't list expensive items and try to make a killing off, expensive items. I think your average profit could be anywhere between $8 to $10 on the lower end and beyond. So I think that's been the average, between $10. That's kind of the sweet spot, between $8 to $15 for profits for the lower end items. I could have put $20 on that nightstand drawer, but I was just showing you guys an example. I wasn't really shitting for profit. I just want to show you guys how to list, and then you pick your profit margins. And we show you how to break that down in the inside as well. Reseller, you pay the wholesale price, so the drop shipper, after you deliver the item to the customer, they're happy, they leave you good positive feedback. It's amazing how much positive feedback I get just from Amazon alone, because of the amount of time it requires to receive the item. It's really fast, as a matter of fact. Excuse me. Okay. So what does it cost to get involved with this? I talked about marketing. You get that already. I'm going through some slides here pretty quick. Training center is all broken down for you guys. And we have an affiliate side to what we do. Let me talk about price points, and we'll talk about the affiliate side. So level basic, okay. What you just saw was I used what's called the overstock page, or rather SKU grabber, okay. That's one tool you'll receive. The other one's the Amazon one, which does the exact same thing. You also have a page grabber that grabs the SKUs. So if you have like 50 items on one page, you can grab all those instead of me doing it by hand, copying and pasting into a file. You can actually grab them all on a page, and you have that access to that for both softwares. And then of course the team support. It's $397 today, and then $97 a month to stay active using our software. Really, the $300, okay. $300 at $397. It gives you access to the training, because there's a lot of concepts that you grasp in the very beginning that you won't necessarily need to do them again the next month, because you already know them. So that's where the training in our time as your coach, the person that's helping you, is going to give you feedback. Okay, they're going to spend time with you. So it only makes sense for that person that invited you, whether it's Lewis or anybody else on the team that invited you to the webinar tonight. It only makes sense that they get paid for their time. Does that make sense? And so we give a commission for that, not just one time, but up front, month to month. That's what creates residual income for the coaching program. for that sponsor. If you already have experience on eBay and you're coming from a different program and not necessarily do you have access to this kind of cool software that's automated, then you may want to have access to not just Amazon and Overstock, but Kmart and Walmart as well. And so that's what the Elite Diamond level advanced section is for, and that's $597 today and $147 a month. Two questions I have to answer is if you're an affiliate, we'll talk about that later after the slide, but you get paid whether you're a basic affiliate or advanced affiliate. If you have a member, one of your friends decides to join the advanced section and all you did was join the basic level, it makes no difference. We're not multi-level where there's like funny stuff going on. You don't get paid if you're not producing anymore, as an example. You get paid just for referring that person because we have an affiliate program, if that makes sense. We want you to get compensated because you spent the time coaching them and talking to them. And so there's a affiliate side to this, and we'll show you how to get this paid for just two referrals. So not only do you get the Amazon and Walmart page scraper, you also get the Amazon top seller scraper grabber, which actually goes after items that people sell from Amazon, like I showed you earlier. He doesn't change the titles up, so guess what? This tool goes and grabs all those items that he just sold and allows you to go list them on your store because you know that they're hot sellers. Then you can actually choose whether he sold 2 or 3 or 4 and beyond, and then go after those items. Pretty cool. Low quantity trick software is another software that goes and tricks the buyer thinking that you have a low stock, but really we store, let's say you have 10 items of that particular item. It stores the difference into our database, and it keeps 2 on your store. So if you sold like 5 chairs, okay, rather if you have a stock quantity of 5 chairs and you only want to show 2, then you run it through this software, and it pulls all your items. So you're not eating up your store quantity because some folks do have limits, and so this software helps out with that. So 2 options here, whatever you choose to do. If you've been in the online marketing space, you know that you probably know somebody out there that's not very good at sponsoring, but you are, then you can get involved in our referral program. Okay, our training is free, how to drive traffic and different sources. I showed you our capture page. You get that as well as part of either program, advanced or basic, and it allows you to refer somebody. You get 50% commissions for that first referral, and anything that they do, you get 10%. Not up front only, but also month to month. So you guessed it correctly. Half of $397 is roughly $200. So $200 up front, and roughly $97. Half of that is $50 a month, $48.50. So you get that on a monthly basis as long as you stay active. So refer to, and your training is free. That's really our motto here, and that's the way we built it that way, so that my wife and I don't have to keep on selling ourselves. We wanted you guys, the students that are having success, to go out and be compensated for your time to coach. So finally, guys, we're coaching 10 people this week. Immediate steps to take action. You want to get back to that person because they get busy. The person that invites you to the webinar, they get extremely backed up and busy. Just send them an email and just be straight up. We don't hype anything here. You saw me showing off some awesome tools, giving you some added value, like some tips on marketing. You get that plus then some. I think we over deliver in the inside. But I do have to be honest with you. If you're involved with 5 or 10 different things, save your money. Be honest with yourself and respect the coach that invited you. Dial into what you're passionate about and cut off what you're not. If you're spending, yes, Luke, I'll be there in a second, buddy. That's my 3-year-old active son. He wants me to go bike riding with him, so I got to wrap it up here. So just guys, send an email out to the person that invited you. Respect the time, and my point is, if you're involved with too many deals, make sure that you dial it in to cut some of that stuff off, because too much distraction. You heard it before. You're a jack trades of all and successful at none. Okay, I'm pretty good at marketing. I can probably do 3 or 4 different things, but I got to the point where I got tired of the next best thing, that I dialed it into just focusing 90% of my time on this system because it's working so well for us. And then I delve into other niches, but not necessarily in the recruiting space. I don't have the energy to recruit in other deals while I'm building one. Does that make sense? I almost think you're not being completely honest with yourself in business when you're trying to do too many things at once. So if you can deliver and then offer this as maybe a front-end service to get money in people's money, if you're a recruiter. So here's my honest opinion. If you're a big-time recruiter, like you can build a team, this may be just the solution you're looking for that long-term sustainable income. And take it from me, I've tried many different things. And so if that can stick around because you're helping people make money, what would that look like? Your wife is not going to hit you anymore with their shoe, okay, trying to get you to go get a job, or anything else that's hindering you from maintaining that income like where I was at. You know, I would make $30,000 in a 24-hour period selling an online product. Great. You know, but that's only good for 3 or 4 months, and then it goes down the drain because you live a $8,000 to $10,000 lifestyle. Everybody's different. I'm just giving you an example. Okay, so pray to your God, to your higher power, to Jesus Christ, whoever, Buddha, whatever you pray to. And if this is the system for you, if you're excited about what you heard here tonight, okay, make a decision. You know, get back to that person and say, hey, I'm ready. This makes sense. I deserve your sign-up link right now. And just shoot an email. If I'm that person, then just shoot me an email to this webinar. Check your email box, maybe your inbox, or even your spam box. Sometimes it goes in there. And then just shoot me an email, and then I'll be happy to get you coached. If you have been doing research with us for the last 6 months and say, Cesar, I like you, but I'm not wanting to be coached by you. I'd rather go be coached by somebody else on your team. I'm okay with that. You know, I don't have an ego. I'm all about helping other people on the team because everybody deserves a fair chance to be coached by the right person. Okay, our system is very simple, guys. We have a three or four step process. Okay, you complete a few steps within 48 hours after you sign up. You pay your membership. You will get access to the training center. You get into the section where you start training yourself, and then you get 5 listings completed by hand, and you get those back to that person that invited you. Okay, so they can review them for you, and then you can move on to automate the process. So I'm super excited, guys. Let me be the first one to welcome you to the team. You know, that's the most important thing is be excited about what you're doing. I wouldn't be here again if it wasn't for my family, for my wife and my kids, because I got to give it up to them and, of course, to my God. And I appreciate God that got me here, because if it wasn't for the passion of helping people, I wouldn't be here, guys, to be honest with you. It'd be about me, it'd be about greed. It'd be about that guy in that movie, the Wall Street movie, right? The Wolf on Wall Street, man. That movie's so disturbing. I just can't stand the greed in people. And I'm only saying that because I've dealt with people in this industry that it's amazing. You know, you spend time with them, you coach them, and then you pour your heart into them, and then they backstab you. And there's those kind of people. So you really got to have a loving heart, guys. It's not about the money anymore for us. It's really about pouring our hearts to people, making sure that they're successful because they want to be successful, right? They have to have that passion inside of that fire. That's nothing that you can light up for them. You can't light up wet wood, right? If they're beat down by life, they're desperate. My advice to somebody is, look, if you are in your last $50 in your life, you probably should consider maybe finding a part-time gig. You might not like that job, but at least get you to where you want to be, and then start doing this on a part-time basis. Because anything that you do in business, it's going to require you some leverage, some time to get it going. I just think from my experience, guys, the eBay system has been the simplest thing I've seen people make money in a long, long, long time of being online. Okay, for folks that are not really good at recruiting. So with that said, guys, you guys have a fantastic night. And, again, get back to the person that invited you, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. God bless. Take care.